thought today, a theme that's been coming up in my life lately, talking to other people, is like people afraid or worried about demons and entities and unconsciousness. And I thought I could share my perspective on demons and entities and even unconsciousness because I think it gets a bad rap. And I think people relate to demons and entities as a way of creating more unconsciousness on the planet than actually being able to uh, heal them or return them back to the light. Um, which, when you think about the heaviness you feel on the planet, that's all that's really happening is all the unconsciousness, all the pain that is stored in earth, that is stored in people. The light is entering more and more of our planet each day. More and more light frequencies are coming to our planet each day. And as it comes to the planet, it's almost like drudging the bottom of a lake, and it's pulling up all the guck, all the pain, all the hurt, all unconsciousness to the surface to be faced and felt. As you face and feel any darkness, as you are aware of it without acting on it, and you just sit with cravings, you sit with unconscious desires, it gets cleared out of you more and more. And the light that is the universe, the light that is source, will continue to bring more and more light frequencies to this planet, to bring up more and more of the pain stored within people, within animals, within nature, within the earth, to make more and more space, to clear out the pain, to make more and more space for more light, love, unity, peace, harmony, grace, and miracles, to live within all beings, to live within the earth. And so when we're feeling unconsciousness, when we're feeling pain, we're just clearing it. We didn't do anything wrong to have unconscious desires, to have cravings, to feel like we're miserable, suffering, lost in pain, but we're just going through a clearing. All the heaviness that is ready to be cleared out of us first needs to be faced and felt before it can be let go, because as you face and feel something, you are learning all you needed to learn from it. And as you learn everything you need to learn from it, it no longer has anything to teach you or to serve you, and it's able to leave and return back to the light of source. And it's why feeling is healing, and it's also why anytime you're taking time to express something in art, no matter how dark it is, no matter how evil you think it is, no matter how grotesque or gross or unconscious you feel like you're painting or writing or talking to a wall, just talking it out of you, is your inner artist, is your inner healer. And as you express it, you are saying, I am free to witness this. I am free to turn this pain into the most beautiful artwork. And in that moment, the pain goes, thank you for no longer being afraid of me. Thank you for no longer pushing me down. And thank you for releasing me through this expression. And as it is released, it will automatically return back to the light of source, because you are the light of source. Everyone is the light of source, and all our pain needs permission to be cleared out of us, is is for us to say, I'm no longer willing to deny this pain. I'm no longer willing to avoid this pain, but I am willing to welcome my pain. I'm willing to welcome my unconsciousness, and I turn it into art as a way of honoring the pain I've survived. And everything within us, even us ourselves, we want to be validated, we want to be honored, we want to receive rewards. And as we are honored and validated, there becomes less ambition to strive for, there becomes less of a need of feeling like we need to accomplish big dreams. And it's okay if we still work towards those dreams, but we start to realize we are enough, and that's the same thing we do for any darkness, demons as entities. The moment we honor it, the moment we say, I'm so grateful you are a part of my journey, for the empowerment and the change and transformation and consciousness you brought into my life, for me being able to survive that pain I went through, for me then on the second half of the journey being able to fully feel, face, and witness it, and even turning it into some type of beautiful piece of art to say thank you for all that I survived as a moment, that darkness, the moment, that pain, that unconsciousness goes, thank you for seeing me, thank you for hearing me. I feel so validated and welcomed in your presence. I can let go of my separation and return to unity. And along my journey, I think it's good to give personal examples. So along my journey, in high school, I used pornography very regularly, just almost like every other day, pretty much. And even after high school a little bit, and it wasn't something that I was just able to stop one day. It was a very slow burn where I would stop it for a while, and then something really stressful would happen, and it was like this coping mechanism that that was hard for me to let go of. And I would fall back into it, and then I would stop it for like a year or two and then fall back into it, and eventually I was able to fully let it go. But after I stopped pornography, one of the things that I really struggled with is I would have really strong sexual fantasies, because all pornography is building a fantasy. It's fantasizing about something like connecting with people or having sex with people as a way of avoiding how lonely we feel, how alone we feel. And so for me, one of the things that took a while to heal after stopping using pornography was the fantasies in the sexual fantasies I had in my mind, that would pretty much felt like when they would start happening, that there was no way to stop them, and it would take over my mind for it could be 20-30 minutes, and I would be pulled out of it, and I'd be like, what just happened? 20 minutes just went by, I was just thinking about sex. And what helped me through that that period in my life, was one day I was working out, and I could feel these sexual fantasies starting to come up to the surface, and there was never any way for me to stop them, or to it just felt like I got pulled into them. And I was working out in the gym one day, and I put a hand to my heart, and I just said, thank you, Shadow, for being here with me. Thank you, which is another word for unconsciousness. You could use darkness, shadow. You could even use demons. I said I use shadow, but any work. Thank you, Shadow, for being here with me. Thank you, unconsciousness, for teaching me how to love parts of myself I don't want to look at. Thank you, unconsciousness, for reminding me how much I survived and is still working to heal and face. Thank you, unconsciousness, for teaching me how to sit with fantasies that I am ready to move beyond. Thank you, fantasies, for being a part of my journey. Thank you, fantasies, for teaching me how to love what's ever going on within me, whether I like it or not. And the moment I did that was the moment the fantasy stopped, for the first moment ever. That I felt like a moment I was going to be pulled into it. And before that, every time I feel these sexual fantasies come up, I just get sucked into it. Or it would feel like it would take up a large space of my mental space. And that was the first time that when I said those words, the fantasies within me went dead quiet, and my mind was just empty. And they would come back up to the surface every time, maybe just a little lighter, and I would just say, I love you, Shadow. I'm grateful for you, Shadow. I'm grateful for all the darkness that I am witnessing now, as a reminder of all the pain I survived and endured. And every time I would just acknowledge my shadow, acknowledge my unconsciousness, it would become dead quiet. and it wouldn't come back for a while, and then it would come back up a little lighter and a little gentler, and I would just, over time, it took a long time, it probably took a year and a half for them to pretty much fully dissolve back. And every now and then I still have a fantasy, but they're not all consuming, and it's just I think it's just part of life. I don't know. um but it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight, but the moment you start to acknowledge any darkness, any unconsciousness, any demons and entities, is the moment that starts to be healed out of you. And I would say, if you meet a healer that says that they cleared all their darkness out of you, or cleared all their darkness out of themselves, or they can clear out entities, I wouldn't trust them. Because clearing darkness is ridiculous. I mean, and maybe there is times when clearing is necessary, but a lot of the times, darkness, unconsciousness, demons, entities exist from a vibration of separation. And so if you're trying to clear something, you're taking a being that exists from a place of so lost and hurt that it doesn't see how it's connected to the whole, an aspect of yourself. Yeah, I mean, any demon entities that you're perceiving, if you're perceiving it around you, is an aspect of yourself. Is if you're perceiving it around others, an aspect of them. It's not something separate. But if if you're trying to clear demons and entities, you're taking a being that's lost in separation and pain, and you're trying to push it down or make it go away, which is creating more and more separation and more disharmony. And the moment you go, I welcome all demons and entities and darkness and unconsciousness into my heart to help them remember their unity, so that I can love them, so that I can feel them and remind them of the light, the love that they lost from all the pain they survived and didn't have enough love or support in those moments to get through them fully unharmed, is a moment any unconsciousness, any darkness, any demons go, thank you for sharing my pain. Thank you for being with me, and thank you for helping me through all that I'm still healing from. And I feel so loved in this moment. I can return some of this darkness back to the light, and I can remember more of my light in your presence, because you're seeing me, you're hearing me, that you're validating me. And I was acting in a way to keep you pushing me away, because I didn't want to change. But really, it was just a cry for help, a cry for attention, so that I was the loudest thing in your mind, in your heart, as a way of saying, please help me heal. Please be with me. Please support me. Please love me, because I'm so lost in pain. I can't remember anything else. And anyone on this planet who acts atrociously, who harms others, who hurts others, would say, if you could ask their innocence what it thinks about how they're acting, it would say the same thing. It'd say, please love me. Please see me. Please see all that I survived. I was born into a dumpster fire, and I got so used to being burned and connected to so often from a place of being hurt, that I thought the best way to connect with others was to hurt them as well. And I really just need help remembering the love that's just buried very deeply within me in this moment. And that's real maturity, to be able to say, I'm willing to see demons, entities, darkness, and consciousness as an aspect of myself, not something separate. And just to bring it full circle, your angels, your guides, are higher aspects of your consciousness. They're not something that we are begging, we're separate from, and saying, please, angels, forgive me. Why am I here? Why am I punished for being on this planet? No, our angels are we are part of our angelic team, and we were the bravest one. All the other angels were saying, this planet is way too gangster. This planet is way too lost in pain for us to step foot down there. And we said, we are willing, and we raised our hand and said, We will go down there. We will endure and survive countless traumas, countless abuse, countless neglect, as a way of sharing our light and sharing the light of our angelic team through us, to start to help heal this planet. And so any angel or guide you see is a higher aspect of your consciousness. And you might even look at them and go, if you see things visually and go, they kind of look like me. And it's because the universe is trying to reflect to you the higher consciousness that is you, that is always you out of time. And that is a level of consciousness you can step more and more into on this planet, in this human body. And the demons and entities that you perceive are the aspects of you that were so lost in pain, they separated off from your heart, they separated off from the whole. And when you start to see them again, is the moment those demons and entities are saying, even if they look really scary, even if they have really good ways of helping you push them away by giving you a bunch of sexual fantasies or giving you a bunch of things you don't want to look at, that when you start to being aware of them is them really telling you that they're ready to start to integrate back into the wholeness, into the light. They're ready to stop hiding. They're ready to move from a place of separation to unity. And when we're thinking about demons, darkness, and unity, can demons and darkness and unconsciousness affect light beings? Can like negative outside demons and entities can attach to you and suck your light? I don't know what they would do. Steal your life force energy, attack your kidneys. I don't know. I would say no. So darkness can only work with people that are aligned with darkness. Darkness can only affect and influence those who are doing things that are unconscious, whether that's hurting others, using drugs, using pornography, whatever things people whatever else things people do that make them feel numb, make them feel, makes them chase some type of adrenaline rush or dopamine high, that's usually not very good for their body long term. Technology addiction, binge watching, I mean, that's like I'd say a rather mild one. Or even the patterns of like codependency, people pleasing, rescuing, all things like empathics do that are subtly forms of manipulation, control, trying to save people when really real maturity is just supporting people through the experiences they go through, because every experience you have is something that you're meant to learn from, to grow, to help you reclaim more of your power. And if you save people from it, they're losing the knowledge, the wisdom they would have gained from going through those experiences. And sure, sometimes miracles can happen, but that's only when it's like aligned. And so darkness, demons, entities can only work with other people aligned in darkness. It can only influence those who are actively connecting to darkness, whether it's through drugs, whether it's through pornography, whether it's through unconsciousness, whether it's through constantly trying to use people for sex, whatever it is. And those who are working with the light are aware of darkness, and we just learn to be aware of it without feeding it. I'm aware of the parts of me that have unconscious desires. I'm aware of the part of me that wants to use people for sex, or to go use drugs, or or say something mean or nasty to someone as a way of getting them back. Whatever it is, I'm aware of it, but I don't act from it. I don't grow those parts of myself. And I say, what is the most compassionate thing I could say in this moment? What's my most mature response? And those are the words I say more often than not. And that's our way of pulling any attachment from darkness, witnessing our darkness. And when we're alone, we can express our darkness in art if we want to, without ever feeding it or growing it within ourselves. Because the choices you make, the words you speak, are what grows within you. And so if you're constantly making choices that are numbing yourself, that is chasing dopamine highs, that is trying to control and manipulate in life, that's what's going to grow within you. And if you constantly are saying, what are the most loving, compassionate words I could say to this person? What is my most mature response in this moment to this person, no matter how they're acting, whether they're acting mean and spiteful or loving and kind? If we act from a place of what's the greatest compassionate thing I could say, compassion will grow within you. If you say, what is the most mean and hurtful thing I could say, mean and hurtfulness will grow within you, and it will have more sway over how you show up and how you act in moments going forward. And even people who are trying to let go patterns of codependency and people pleasing and like trying to let go patterns, look at other areas of your life. How don't I take care of myself? Do I try and numb myself when I feel exhausted? Which, you know, I still scroll on my phone every night, like pretty regularly. So there's no shame in it. But whatever we do I use marijuana when I feel overwhelmed? Do I go out binge drinking after a stressful week of work? And is that feeding more of the parts of myself that wish me to be numb, that wish me to be unconscious, that wish me to avoid my feelings? Or is that feeding the parts of myself that are loving, kind, respectful, and want to be the most compassionate, caring, supportive person in every moment? And we look at my words and actions create what I'm aligned with. And the more I take time to be compassionate, to be loving, to be kind, to take the greatest care of this body, to fully feel my feelings, to find healthy outlets for them, whether it's through singing or painting or journaling or talking to a friend, is the moment I pull any attachments of darkness or unconscious that I'm witnessing more and more closer to the unity and love of my heart. And I'm reclaiming my power from being swayed or from being controlled and manipulated by my unconscious aspects. And I'm bringing more of the light of my soul into this body to start to speak and act through me more often. And that's the journey we're all on. That's life. Coming from a painful past into fully embodying our soul, fully embodying our light by just our willingness to speak loving words, to be compassionate, to say prayers, to witness what's going on the world that might be dark and heavy, and not to obsess or fixate on it, because also what we fixate on, what we obsess about, does grow within us as well. So being aware of how much time we're spending focusing on something, we can be aware of it. We can be aware of things that are happening, whether it's things that are happening in Hollywood, things that are happening in war zones. We can be aware of it, and as we witness it, we are sending our light through any TV screen, through any phone, to go influence those areas. But as we don't want to start to get to the place of fixating, obsessing, hypervigilating, because then we're moving out of a place of consciousness into unconsciousness of, I need to control and manipulate my life, or I need to control and manipulate the things that are happening in the world, and that's never going to feed wholeness, harmony, peace within you. And so we're aware of the things that are happening on this planet, but when we look at them for a little bit and then we go, how can I anchor more peace on the planet? Maybe it's making time to meditate 5 minutes twice a day. Maybe it's saying a couple of prayers for peace as I ride the train. Maybe it's setting intentions. May every time I open my fridge, greater peace and safety and love goes to all women, man, and children. may every time I chop a vegetable, I chop open the hearts of all of humanity for greater love to flow into. May every time I record a YouTube video, may greater peace, healing, consciousness flow to all. Whatever, setting our intentions for the day. Life is, you can set an intention, uh, any point throughout your day too. So even if you like, let's say you like looked at your computer all day, and then at the end of the day was just like, for every second I looked at my computer, may greater love and oneness and healing flow to all. And you can set your intention after the fact, and your energy fields goes, thank you for giving me direction, and it then starts to radiate out those frequencies out to all, because our energy field is healing, and it's healing every person we need, but it heals every person we come in contact to. But when we start our intention, we're adding more power and more focus to our energy field, that's then able to heal and impact people to a greater degree, because now it has focus and intention. And just like if you wanted to become a famous musician or an artist, a famous artist, the way to get there is through focus and intention and practicing your craft regularly. And so your energy field needs the same thing. It needs your focus and intention to know what it's meant to impact. And as you give it more of your focus and intention, you're strengthening the power of your energy field to heal and impact all that it comes across, or all that it can affect that day. And the more focus and intention you give your energy field, the more power it has. And just to close this out, so when we think about unconsciousness and darkness, sure, evil people on the planet, there is a chance you could get hurt, you could get killed by an evil person, but from an energetic perspective, unconsciousness only focuses on darkness, because it's way too self-absorbed to be aware of anything else. And it's also, if it looked at the light for too long, it would just remember the light that it's trying to hide from. And so it's not able to influence you as long as you're not feeding it within you. And it's almost like you are a radiant sun, and darkness and unconsciousness is like a snowman with maybe a radiant sun hiding within it. And the snowman can only play in the snow. And the moment it looks, this is an analogy, the moment it looks at the sun is the moment, or the moment the sun comes out is the moment that snowman starts to melt. And as it fully melts, the radiant sun within it is fully revealed. And one last thing, just to close, one last thing is, there's also, when you're connecting to higher spiritual beings, and unconsciousness can't move out of the field of who's ever feeding it. So you're never going to be like, you can never take on some negative energy from another person, but you're just matching it within you based on you matching your breath to their breath. So you're never going to be influenced by giving a homeless person a hug, or spending time with people who maybe are still finding their way out of unconsciousness. You are the sun helping radiate some of their snow. Some of the snowmen that encases them, you're helping melt some of the snow. And it doesn't mean we spend time with people that are unconscious or still working through unconscious patterns every day, but we are willing to hug people, we are willing to connect with people, because we recognize that our light helps them heal. But okay, higher dimensional beings that aren't unconscious but maybe appear dark. This is really people who see, when you see dark things in people's field, and you go, this is a loving person, this is a person I know who lives their life in integrity. Why am I perceiving dark beings in their field? Why am I perceiving dark energy around this person that I know is a being of love? And, maybe get to know them better too. Make sure that they really are aligned in what you would think they're aligned in. But frequencies that we haven't attuned ourselves to, Like, let's say we're connecting from beings from another star system that are very neutral. And neutral isn't a bad thing, but it's just neutrality is I can see way down into the future, like 10,000 years, 100,000 years down in the future. And I recognize that this negative thing, 10,000 years, 100,000 years, will actually serve the highest good to the greatest degree if it plays out. And right, that's why like negative things happen on this planet, because it serves the highest good over a long period of time. And it actually serves the highest good to the greatest degree. And everything on this planet is happening to serve the highest good. Well, even if it's atrocious tragedy, sometimes people need tragedy, like I think I've said this before, like 9/11, where after 9/11, bunch of patriotism, songs written about 9/11, everyone came together for a little bit, and we remembered a little bit more of the conscious community of humans that we are before forgetting it all again. And so tragedy can help bring people together, even, you know, no matter what type of political views you have. If you think Donald Trump is the greatest president ever or he's the worst president ever, the people who viewed it as the worst president ever, him as, and I'm a humanitarian, I stand for the greatest healing in every moment. I'm really not that political, so I don't want, do I think Donald Trump is the most conscious, aware, kind, loving person on the planet? Absolutely not. Do, but everyone's a mixed bag. Hopefully, hopefully something good can come from him being president. But but the people that realized that thought that Donald Trump's the worst president ever, they reached out to their friends more after the event. Like, I had multiple conversations about talking to people who like were really upset that he got elected president, and and were connecting with people more around them more regularly. And so everything that happens is serving the highest good of all, even if it doesn't look like it is, and even if that highest good isn't going to show up for another 100 years, another 1,000 years, another 10,000 years, but everything plays out to serve the greatest good long term. And so neutrality. So with neutrality, the beings that are being, so maybe a being's really neutral and it's a frequency that you're not very attuned with. I know I still get swayed by things all the time in my life, and I have a hard time being neutral as well. But if you were to see that being, it would you would perceive it as dark because it's an unknown frequency that you haven't fully attuned yourself to. It's an unknown frequency that you haven't yet really connected to very much. And so if we're perceiving ETs or aliens, or even like a darkened angel is a frequency that says that is this angel's embodies frequencies that you've never actually connected with before. And it doesn't mean it's evil, and it doesn't mean it's trying to possess you or take you over. And the same with, like, maybe you're seeing reptilian aliens or beings from other star systems and you see them as dark. It's just saying they embody frequencies, they embody awareness that you have never connected to before. And that's why they're perceiving dark, because dark doesn't always mean evil. It can also mean unknown, just like the void. The void isn't an evil, space isn't evil, it's just unknown. There isn't the light, a lot of light of awareness within all of space. And so if you think about it like that, when we're seeing things that are dark, when we're seeing things that are empty, entities, even if they really are unconscious, can we welcome them? Can we love them? Can we get to know them? Can we be curious and engage with them? And can we acknowledge them? Because nothing is out to get you, really, at the end of the day, and everything just wants to be welcomed, honored, acknowledged. And if you can lead your life from that perspective, nothing really will be able to sway you, to influence you, control, or manipulate you, and you'll merge more and more to the light of your soul that you are. So thank you. I hope that helps. Goodbye.